Go ahead.
All right, well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here as we gather to celebrate reading on Read Across Jamaica Day. Today is May 3rd, 2022, and our theme for Read Across Jamaica Day is Education, the Key to Unlocking Opportunities. I've gathered a number of special guests here today to be able to share with our students across Jamaica some very interesting stories and some key facts, all related to, obviously, education and things that will open doors for you in the future. Now, I would like to pass, if you can just flip to the next slide for me, please. All right. So what to expect in today's celebration? Well, obviously devotion started at 8, and we'll have to flip on over to Facebook Live to see that, and we can catch that at a later time. And then since we only have a few people, and I do know who they are, we won't have to sign in the chat, but that's a little interactive something so that we know that you were here. All right, and then any questions, just put that in the chat. And then we'll make sure that we get back to you in terms of answering those questions towards the end. Next slide, please. All right, so first of all, I want to thank our sponsors and our contributors for helping us to make this possible today. Of course, our Honorary General Counsel, David Sangster, the City of Sacramento, in recognizing and continuing to support the efforts of the Caribbean community, our media sponsors, Making Connections Work, and Richard McIntosh Media Services, along with DS Technologies and Super Jams radio station. We want to just thank them for their support. Next slide, please. Read Across Jamaica, whether it's here in Canada, Japan, Africa, all over the world. Anytime you read a book with a child, you are actually opening up the world. You are helping them to build on their imagination. You're helping them to obviously dream and desire to become something other than stagnant. But obviously, we want to say that reading a book with a child helps to defer anything that would cause them to become illiterate. So we want to encourage our parents and our brothers and sisters, individuals who have a love for children, to continue to share stories with them on a daily basis, a weekly basis. And I know that each of my special guests are doing things, are working with children in special ways to encourage them and to lift them up. Next slide. All right, so on the ground, we had a welcome by Miss Claudia Campbell, who is Miss St. Mary. And so I'm going to pass the baton over to Mr. David Sangster so that he can do a brief warm welcome and share with you our proclamation.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Read Across Jamaica 2022. The stated goals of Read Across Jamaica are really to celebrate and create a nation of diverse readers. Reading can teach so many important lessons for us, reveal new worlds, enrich our understanding of our own world, of different people, perspectives, and cultures. It's a critical and important foundation for today's rapidly changing world. And with the advent of, and dare I say, distractions posed by smartphones and tablets, it is even more essential than ever to motivate children to read. And so I encourage all of us, parents, educators, community members, to engage with children to make reading a fun and interactive experience. I want to first start off by acknowledging the hard work of Miss Janice Wisdom, who as founder and executive director of Read Across Jamaica has used her vision, passion, tenacity, and determination to make Read Across Jamaica a reality since 2003, if memory serves me right, almost 20 years. So now I would like to issue a very warm welcome to our guest speakers and honored guests who have joined us from all across the world. First off, Dr. Lola Ramakan, a gifted diplomat, education specialist focused on early childhood development, educational policy and planning. Dr. Ramakan has spent significant time at the United Nations and UNICEF as a national officer in Jamaica, and also as a consultant providing direction and strategy to the Ministry of Education in Jamaica. So thank you for your service. Ms. Keisha Thorpe, another extraordinarily gifted educator, the recipient of the $1 million Global Teacher Prize, phenomenal accomplishment, and woman of many talents. She is also an accomplished track and field athlete, for those of you who may not know, started her career in the US on a track and field scholarship. Ms. Deanne Heron, who I just met today, counselor, foster caregiver, poet, author of numerous short stories about Jamaica culture and her experience growing up in the UK as a child of the Caribbean. Then, of course, Mr. Bernardo Taylor, musical ambassador and poet. He's been a wordsmith using poetry to convey truth and wisdom, being recognized with awards, and teaches others to package truth in beautiful parcels, poems. Mr. Donovan Longmore, who is part of the Northeast Diaspora Council, Global Northeast think tank. He's also media personality and encourages young men and women to have a better future. Ms. Paula Kirkendall, who represents Sister Cities International. There's 6 of them in Jamaica. She's done a lot of good work, hurricane relief, building libraries, and promoting various cultural literary initiatives. And finally, Mr. Rudy Page, a management consultant in healthcare, education, and community service. He's also been is a director of a radio station in London and vice chair of a theatre company, a real Renaissance man, if there ever was one. And finally, I would like to thank the mayor of Sacramento, California, Mr. Darrell Steinberg, declaring May 3rd to be Read Across Jamaica Day in Sacramento. Okay, back to you, Rudy.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Wow.
Janice, our next speaker. So we go with
Right, if you pull
Lola.
up if you pull up the slide.
For Dr. Lola.
If you pull up the slide.
Okay, I could just go ahead. Let me greet everyone on this very important day, Reading Across Jamaica, and to say thanks for including me in this launch. We greet our honorary council, Mr. Sangster, and Mr. Rudy Page, and of course the members of Read Across Jamaica Foundation, and the head, Miss, as she said, Janice. Miss Janice Wisdom. Such a pleasure. And I just want to say good morning to everyone. And I have a special book from which I will be reading, but before we start reading, I just like to share 3 quick things with the PowerPoint. And you could just go to the next slide, Rudy, because I think before reading, we should think about the children. And I was hoping to address the children, their entry into reading, which has to be by a code, which is the alphabet. And this goes for any language at all. And of course, I was hoping by the end of this presentation, even a child who was not reading would be able to start putting words together using a pattern that I have used. You have just the standalone vowels like I, and then we have the consonants combined with a vowel. We have the consonant, the vowel consonants. We have the consonant, vowel, consonants with an E, and you form these words, and then you start forming sentences. I hope one day I'll be able to interface with children to really show that this works. Could you go to the next one as I'm sharing? reading codes. And this is very important for us for self-esteem building and for critical thinking. And I was hoping to ask the children whether they had any special quotes, but I just put those, and reading is the door for unlocking opportunities, which Rudy has. Reading maketh the man. If you can read this, you thank the teacher, and the teacher doesn't have to be the traditional teacher, could be a parent, could be a sibling. And if you want to hide something, put it in a book. This is Jamaicanized because we think that people really need to open books and read them. Yes, so just go to the next one. And then I wanted to ask the children what reading does for me, to personalize reading. Why do I want to read? And I have some reasons listed: how to use language to make sense of the world, improves information processing skills,
For me.
improves and expand vocabulary, improves comprehension, helps to strengthen your memory. And then we have the last, that other slide. I just gave some more. Develops self-esteem, improves concentration, develops better critical and analytical skill. And I was hoping that this would be a homework for the children. They should research and find more reason for reading and share with their teachers. And then I would go on to my book. You could do the next slide. Of course, you were hoping to put this on, so I'll just share quickly on the book. Sorry that I don't, that's the flip that should be showing. And I also donated 5 books that the children, at least 5 children, could interact. But the title of the book is Community Helpers. It is a reader, it is an activity book, and it is a coloring book. And the book is designed to foster self-respect, respect for community helpers, the work that they do, and also to introduce children at a very early age as to what they would like to do when they grow up. This is a hard question to answer, but children need to answer this question very early in life. So the cover of the book depicts different professions, and I always ask children to name them and name other professions. On the cover, intentionally, I have a lady being a medical doctor, because I have found out when you ask children what they would like to be and you mention medical doctor, it's mainly the boys would put up their hands. And it is the same when you ask if they like to be a nurse, it is the girls would put up their hands. So there is a stereotyping. And I try to get this in the book that children understand that they can be anything that they want to be and anything good. And I also introduce a concept that there are some things that a child would want to say, I don't want to be. And in our dispensation, I do not want to be a gunman. I do not want to be a scammer. So we try to do that. And then I go through the book and I have both male and female on every page of the book to explain why a doctor can be male and female, whether a teacher, and right through the book, this is done. And also to introduce children to our national symbols and emblems, which sadly are not really sufficiently used throughout the diaspora. So the book, although I use some examples in Jamaica, it's a non-fiction, it's a true to life book, it can be used throughout the diaspora. The Jamaica examples are just there. So basically, this is what the book is all about. And I invite children to really share with others in reading the book. They can be mentors and use the book with other children in the community. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much for that. And of course, the book itself will be, we aim to translate into a community mural.
Yes.
In August Town in Jamaica as part of Jamaica's 60th anniversary reigniting the nation for greatness.
And this is what the book looks like. I should have shown it. And on the back, we have our heroes. And it is there.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ramaka.
If we go to Bernardo now, then we go to Deanne, then we go to Paula.
You pull up your slide?
It's good to be here with you. I miss being in Jamaica, walking with the children and being a part of the devotional, and bread and biscuit and bun and tea and everything that was Jamaican that I was learning about. I remember a young girl told me once to say, I am Jamaican, and I'm not Jamaican, but she was telling me that because she had such pride in who she was and what she accomplished, and I admired that. And I admired Dr. Lola's book because it shows that not only the profession, but the heroes on the back. And I was very impressed. Every school recognized the heroes. And when you have heroes that look like you, then you can do fantastic, wonderful things. We all are born to do something wonderful and great. As David Sankster was telling us today about the Ikigai, and it's such an important thing to recognize who you are. You know, God gave me a poem once upon a time that said, I can't flow like you flow, go like you go, or blow like you blow. See, my instrument is tuned in B. To or not to, what have I got to lose by choosing to play the riffs of bliss that exist in the midst of the gift I was blessed with? I was born to blow my own horn, so stop chasing the cows and the corn. Rise, give the praise on each new morn and reach for the sky. Do or die, you and I might try, but God knows that we can't fly. See, we don't have wings. It's a spiritual thing when we talk about soaring from the mountaintop. But don't stop the dreams that gleam as the moonbeams break through the jet streams. Remember, cream will rise to the top, and we all would like to get our props. Props are about being recognized, and in whose eyes do you want to shine? Check the meaning your success defines, because you glitter, you glow, and you flow, and you know some people never see you because their minds are blind. It might take the will and the skill and the zeal to help you reach the highest top. So I am a poet. And a long time ago, I had to redefine who I am, as Dr. Lola was saying. I had to recognize at a young age, what is it you want to be? What is it you want to contribute? And God told me, you are a poet. And I broke it down to understand, using the words, like she was saying, using language, I am a presenter of eternal truth. I'm a spiritual being wrapped inside of physical flesh. And therefore, I move about through the world, I travel, I meet other people who are spirit-minded, because spirit is where we find the kindness, where we find the love, where we find the generosity. And by doing that, we don't even care about what color your skin is or what country you're from, because you're a spirit being. That is your reflection of who God made you to be. That's your reflection of him. So that's my belief. And that's what I use to go around the world and sow seeds. I am the modern day sower of the seed, and I scatter seeds wherever I go. And hopefully there'll be some wonderful plants coming behind me, because other people will receive them and nurture them and care for them. I want to leave you very quickly. I got to get ready to go, but I want to leave you with an idea. This in the United States is election year, and we have to understand that there is a reason why politicians exist. Politicians are not necessarily a bad thing. If a politician does what he's supposed to do, he makes the world a better place. They make the world a better place. She makes the world a better place by passing laws and things that help the community as a whole. So I want to leave you with 4 words. This poem is called 4 Words Forward. Work, hope, love, vote. Work, hope, love, vote. If we could eradicate apathy dramatically, we could take back democracy emphatically. We could play a part in starting to reduce the tragedies. To vote is more than hope, it is strategy. Love could decrease the numbers of people who are left behind or hurt, but it is not done magically, but by us doing the work. 4 words of note to quote: work, hope, love, vote. Remember, If you can't remember anything else, and that's why I like poetry, because it very concisely brings ideas and things together. And the word was how this place was created. When God said, let there be, there was. So use your words carefully because you're handling very sacred things. Please take this seed that I passed on to you, use it for the betterment of us all. Work, hope, love, vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Deanne?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I was just about to say good afternoon. I need to remember it's afternoon here, but it's morning there. My name is Deanne Heron, and I do lots of things, but my first love is writing. I've had 5 books published, 2 volumes of short humorous stories called Partner Money Stories, and I'm going to read part of one of my short stories in volume 1 called The Ting. And if most of you will know that money is referred to as the ting. So this is part of one of my short stories. I hope you enjoy it. Okay? So The Ting. When I was growing up in Jamaica, people rarely referred to money by name. It was always the ting or the something. My grandmother would say, "Child, come take the partner money for me." It was all right to mention the M word because there was no one else around. "When you pass Brother Joseph," she would continue, "call to him and ask him to give you the ting. No go in the yard, for him have 2 full dog that will bite you. Then pass by Sister Gwen and ask her to give you fair ting too." And I would look at my grandmother in total confusion. I'd spent my first years in Kingston with my mother before she emigrated to England. I was still getting the hang of patois. I would ask, what ting you mean, Granny? She would give me the look and answer, "Never your mind, just go on. What good? And I'll go dash it to a bush." Sometimes, if I asked too many questions, she would bend down, looking around for what she called a switch, which was a small stick, as if to beat me, and say, "But Lord, you see me dying trial? Your mother gone to England and left you here to give me nothing but trouble. Child, go from me, you didn't pick me." I would skip away smartly, knowing I'd gone too far. Although in all the years I lived with my grandmother, I don't remember her once beating me. So I would walk up the dirt track from our little wooden house next to the family cemetery, the burying ground to us. I would idly beat the heads off the flowering weeds, or bush, as it was called, with a stick, making the butterflies and moths fly out, and deliberately rake up the dust with my sandals. I would stop for a little while by the big mango tree where the pigs hung out, watching them feasting on the rotten mangoes in the mud their feet had churned up. I loved to see the old black and white sow as she lay with her back against the tree, while the tiny pink piglets fed hungrily, their little curly tails in the air. I would pass the giant avocado pear tree with half its roots exposed, providing a shelter for animals at night. I never liked passing that point alone. It always had a strong animal smell. The sun never seemed to quite reach that bit of the track. It had a cold, gloomy feel that always made my head raise and made me shiver as I hurried past, afraid to look into the hollow in case I saw something I didn't want to see. The red-eye rolling calf, perhaps, or the 1-foot man with his back to front head. Tales I had overheard my older cousins telling late at night, long after I'd been sent to bed. I would come out into the bright sunshine again and see the grey smoke curling lazily from Brother Joseph's kitchen further down the hill. I knew better than to just walk into his yard, even though there was no fence or gate. I would stand by the June plum tree and shout, "Brother Joe!" Man with his bow legs would appear on his veranda, leaning on his walking stick and peering short-sightedly over his spectacles to see who it was, while the dog stood beside him, barking frantically. He would always have his open Bible in his hand. Who that? He would ask. Me, Miss B. Granddaughter, sir, I would shout above the dogs. Who? He would shout again, aiming a kick at the nearest dog, which was never anywhere near it, for everyone knew he loved and fed those dogs better than himself, and wouldn't harm a hair on their heads. Dog, go sit down, he would shout, and the two dogs would immediately drop to their stomachs, heads on paws, whining and wagging their tails. I can see them now, trying to shuffle forward on their stomachs when they thought he wasn't looking. One was called Brown Dog, and the other Black Dog. Yes, I know, but it made perfect sense to me at the time. Come in, let them not trouble you, he would say. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. So that's the story of my grandmother sending me to take the partner money and, making sure I kept myself safe. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Deanne. You really captured us. Everybody was listening so intently.
I'll go back to partner money stories, then you can read the rest of the story.
Okay, if we go to Paula. If you unmute.
Hi there, Paula Kirkendall coming from Sister City International. I'm in Oakland, California. We have a sister city. It's 6 sister cities, and mine happened to be in Ocho Rios. We're coming to adopt schools in Jamaica, as our ambassador, Audrey Marks, has asked us to. We're starting a library and culture initiative. We've also are going to be coming to the schools and asking for pen pals. Now, this will be cursive pen pals. We'll ask for you to write letters to students across the country, and we hope that you participate. In this book drive, we're going to be donating books, and we're going to be asking all of you to participate and read across Jamaica and read across America. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Keisha?
Hi, how are you? It's great to be here, and everything else everyone has presented so far has been so profound. Thank you so much. I actually changed my presentation to be from being interactive, and now the students are here. But what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and do the piece that I've changed it to, because I'm not able to switch it over. So I'm Keshia Thorpe, and I'm really honored to be among such passionate individuals that share the same goal of really empowering our young people through helping them to understand the power of values and education. And there has been many values that can help us navigate life, but there are 3 significant ones I'll speak about that to young people about that are connected with the Read Across Jamaica initiatives. And so those 3 values are respect, trust, and peace. These values do not just really come naturally all the time, but they're really developed through the acquisition of knowledge. When I speak of knowledge, I'm really referring to education, because this is how we access knowledge. So while some people say that education is not required to achieve success, I firmly believe that education is the key to unlocking opportunities. Education has the ability to really open doors for young people and to really transform their lives. I remember a quote that Horace Mann states, that education is the great equalizer. And I really believe in that. I know it has the ability to disrupt the cycles of poverty and really take people to places they've never thought they could have gone, or heights they never thought they could have reached. It puts you at the table and puts people where they never envisioned they would sit, and people they never envisioned they would sit with. And it really elevates your socioeconomic status. And as I relate these words, I'm really also telling parts of my story, because I was a little girl who was raised in Jamaica in in a little, in poverty, really, and never thought that I would make much of my life. And people around me counted me out. And even my mother didn't really believe in me and thought that I wouldn't amount to anything. But when I was in high school, a coach discovered my track and field talent and made me realize that college was possible. And before that, I really listened to all of the noise that was around me, all the negativity, and I let that seep into my spirit. And I believed that I wasn't good enough. And so as I think about what my goals were, and if I work hard enough to achieve them, then I would actually graduate and get a job. And that was what my ultimate goal was, just to graduate and get a job. And that was going to be good enough for me. But what I realized is that that would more than likely also put me back in the same position as my parents, who struggled and work a regular job and just enough to survive, and just continue in that cycle of poverty. But when my coach told me that I could get a scholarship to college, I really realized that I could do more than just survive. I can get a higher education and really go after my dreams, really pursue my dreams to the highest level. And so no matter what you dream of becoming, young people, education will always be the most important investment that you will make towards your dream. And even if you plan to go to maybe technical school or vocational school, it is still important that you get additional education and to be the best at what you want to do. I remember another quote from Nelson Mandela that says, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. And so you are the future, and the world is really waiting on you. So with all the conflict that we have going on in the world, it needs you. You do not have to be educated to respect others, but education can allow you to understand that there are other worldviews, and it helps people to become more socially and culturally aware and learn how to tolerate each other and get along. And you don't have to be educated to trust, but education allows you to develop a higher level of critical thinking and to be able to really make more responsible decisions for your life and determine what sources of information is out there that you can trust and that you can lean on, and to make those responsible decisions for yourself and informed decisions for your life. You don't need to be educated to learn how to be respectful, but education helps one to learn how to choose peace over conflict. And these key values are how we can change the world. And to the young people, I would like to ask, are you willing to invest in your education and be a part of the change you want to see in the world? So as you're listening to this, I want you to really say to yourself with conviction that I am committed. If today you plan to make that pledge and invest in your education, unlock opportunities that are waiting for you to access your dreams. That's what you will be doing. If you invest in your education, and if you're committed, and if you're intentional about doing that, you will unlock so many doors to accessing your dreams. If you make that commitment, I really want you to also prophesy to yourself today by saying, today is the first day of the rest of my life. I am committing to be a better me. My future is bright. I can block out all the negative noise I hear around me. I will not live up to other people's expectations of me. I only owe it to myself to be great. I want you to also tell yourself that I hope that I have, well, today for me, I want you to say those things to yourself. And in saying that, I hope that I have planted a seed with you today that will help you to understand how important values are in your life and in the success of the trajectory of your life, and how education can also help you to unlock some of those opportunities to achieve in your dreams. And I want you to really dream big and let the vehicle of education take you to your final destination. And so that is what I have for you today. I'll also go ahead and put that mantra that I've written for you in the chat, and hopefully it will help you to get through some of those negative noise that you hear around you every day that tell you that you can't, that tells you that you're not good enough, that tells you that you're not worthy. So I really want you again to say to yourself that today is the first day of the rest of my life, and I'm committing to be a better me. My future is bright. I can block out all the negative noise I hear around me. I will not live up to other people's expectations of me. I only owe it to myself to be great. And yes, you do, because you are great. So thank you for allowing me to share these words with you.
Yeah, thank you, Kesia. I just wanted to add while you are reciting that, because the students are there. So let's give them an opportunity to at least repeat what you just said, so that we can get a little bit of feedback and see that there's some interaction. So we see a few of you in front of the camera, right? So let's see, how about we start out by at least acknowledging and waving our hands. Can I see somebody wave their hand? I want to see who's listening.
Yeah.
Pardon? Yeah, yeah. I
Awesome.
want to see who's listening. Are you sitting there in front of the camera, but you're not listening? Can you wave your hand at us? We'd like to, yeah, we'd like to get it. All right.
All right, young people, I want you to go ahead and put your hand in your chest. Put your hand in your chest, because you're making that commitment today. And what I want you to say to yourself, and I want you to say it out loud so we can actually hear you as well. So the first thing I want you to say is, today is the first day of my life.
Can you unmute
I am
them?
committing to be a better me.
They're on mute.
Can you unmute them, Rudy?
They're gonna have to be unmuted from whoever's controlling the camera.
Oh, okay.
They're saying it. I can see their lips moving.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we have someone unmuting it so we can hear them.
That's it.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
All right, young
Thank you.
people, we're going to start over again, because we definitely want to hear you make that pledge for yourself. So again, you're going to say after me, today is the first day of the rest of my life. I am committing to be a better me. My future is bright. I can block out all the negative noise I hear around me. I will not live up to other people's expectations of me. I only owe it to myself to be great. All right, we'll say that last line again so that you really internalize it and take it in. I only owe it to myself to be great. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I hope those words resound with you, and I hope you will continue to hold those words true to yourself and stay true to the commitment of pursuing your education and pursuing your dreams.
Thank you very much for that, Keisha. I think what we'll do, Janice, just before we go to Dean Roden and then Donovan Longmore, if we quickly go back to Dr. Lola, just to give us a quick overview of the Community Helpers book, as they weren't online. I think it's important for them to see
Rudy, you're not following the schedule.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think
okay.
Just to go back, because the young people were not online when Dr. Lola gave her presentation.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Just do a quick overview.
But I would still like to be able to make sure that we have two presenters that had videos that wanted to share that message with the kids, that we make an effort to present that.
We'll get everybody in. It's just
okay.
It's just
all right.
I think it's important for the young people to understand the Community Helpers. Then we just move through.
Thank you very much, Rudy. As you said, I was hoping to interface with the young people. Welcome, everybody. And I am glad to see you. What a one in Jamaica. I am sure that you can identify with that. Here is the book. It is called Community Helpers, and it's a reader activity and coloring book. I hope you can see it. There are 5 of them in your school, so I hope you'll get your hand on it. And on the cover of the book, you will see different professions, as it were. Can you identify any of these professions? Any of you? I am not sure they are hearing, but there are different professions, and these are just examples of some of them. And I have these just as examples because I would like each of you to ask yourself this very important question: what I would like to be when I grow up. Can you ask yourself that question? What I would like to be when I grow up. And I know you can change, and that is okay. But if you ask yourself the question from now, even if you change, you would change to be a very good community helper, because these are different community helpers. Inside the community helpers, you, of course, you would know, you have your acknowledgement page, and then you have what is called the introduction. And I would just read it to you since you won't be able to read it for me. It says, there are special people who help us in our community. We call them community helpers. We are going to learn the names of some of them, the tools they use, and also where they work. We should show respect. And this word has been resounding: respect for our community helpers and help them to give good service. We must say thank you and please to them. We love our community helpers. And this is very important that you recall these areas of social graces, as it were, they are called, and to have them operational. And then this page is a very important page, and it is the book Belongs. The concept of belong is not very well understood. And I could ask all of you this question: do you feel that you belong in school? Do you feel that you belong in your home? Do you feel if you belong in your community? And this question is very important, because if you do not feel belong, then you are not going to be comfortable. Of course, we go on to the different areas of the book, focusing on the different professions. And this is the doctors, and this is how it reads. These are the doctors. The doctor takes care of our health. The doctor wears an overcoat. One of the doctors is sitting on a stool. And the very important statement here: talk to someone about the doctors. We like our children to talk to each other, talk to their parents, talk to their community person, because it is an entry into interviewing. And it continues with the dentist, and then continue with the nurses. And injection is introduced because a lot of children grow up fearing injection. And this is something that you have throughout your life, and they need to know about it. Of course, you have the police, which is police women, and you have policemen, you have the firefighters, you have the teachers, and they're all depicted as male and female. And then you have the pastor. And what I do for the pastor is that I ask the children to draw their pastors, because pastors can be male and female depending on your beliefs. Of course, we have the different devices that the community helpers use at work. We have an overview. Community helpers keep us healthy. They protect us from danger. They deliver our letters. They keep the streets clean. They provide us with food. They teach us. They tell us about God. We love our community helpers. And of course, you have the activities, and it is integrated with mathematics so that they are following in sequence, and then they choose their colors to color it. And next part of the book having to do with like matching, which is introducing them to discriminate. They also have writing sentences about their favorite community helper and say why. And you have matching the objects. The computer is introduced as one of the tools of the community helper. They start their research, find out about community helpers, draw pictures and colors of them to be collage. And this is introducing them to diversity, because they can have collages from Jamaica, from Canada, from the USA, and make a big wall with different collages and talk about the diversity. Write sentences about the work that the community helpers do, and the national anthem is introduced, and they can introduce the one in the diaspora they are, whether it's Canada, US, but this is Jamaica, and it is a prayer. And the protocol is taught that they need to stand at attention when the national anthem is being sung. We also have the national songs of school, the national pledge. They're introduced to research on the computer to go and find out who wrote them. And of course, we have the national symbols. And this too can be a diaspora activity where they look at the national symbols of different countries, the map of Jamaica, to identify on the map of Jamaica where probably a relative lives or any other important thing to them, their grandparent. And there's a vocabulary page, because vocabulary is so important in reading, and they can do an activity in group for collaborative learning, and maybe the teacher or the person using it can give them a prize, whether it's a little cake that they share up for those who have covered the right one, as the teachers call. And of course, we have our national heroes and the heroine, and they have been good community helpers. That's why they get a title like this, and they can aspire to be good community helpers, even if they are not going to be a hero or a heroine. So I think this sort of, the children have gone, but when they do get the book, they will interface with it. It is a book, as I said, it's non-fiction, it is true to life.
Thank you very much.
So let's see, can we get a little bit of feedback from some of the kids in the room? Now, Dr. Lola, she showed you a book about community helpers. We'd like to identify who those community helpers are. So let's see, we lost the screen.
They got their hands up.
Ms. Dion, oh, do they have hands up?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I can't see the screen,
So
but that's great.
maybe Dion can pick one out if they could let them stand up.
Yeah.
All right, you got two at the front there. Go ahead. We've got two devices open, Dion, so one of them will need to be the sound turned down, then you should be okay.
Yeah. And I also had something for them to read to remember. And if I can also have them repeating it, but I didn't see them there, so that
Yeah.
they could.
And a couple of the girls have stood up as well, Dr. Lola, so it hasn't just been the boys, which is good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So did they get all 5 of them?
Dion, did they get it right? They look very confident, and they are from St. Mary, so I will give you all top marks. Well done, St. Mary.
So who in the room would like to become a community helper?
Excellent question.
Hand is up.
Hands up.
Two, I see two hands there.
See two boys. Any girls that want to
Three,
become community
Three boys,
helpers?
good community helpers. Very good. You could ask them what community helper they would like.
Right.
Can you
Yes.
ask them what community? I don't know if they're hearing me,
Or,
but what community helper would you like to be?
or maybe Dion or
Dion,
Mr. McIntosh
answer.
could put it in the chat room. So I
Yeah.
think what we could do, Dion, Mr. McIntosh, if you put the answer to that question into the chat room, then we'll come back to that. So we
Yeah.
would like to know from the students what type of community helper would they like to be, and then we'll read them out at the end.
Yes, that would be good.
Okay, so it's going to do that. Janice?
And can I read what I wanted them to read after me? And
Yes.
it
You want them to
says-
recite after you, Dr. Lola?
Yes, but I don't know whether they'll hear me.
Okay.
It
No,
says,
they can hear, but it's just that we can't hear their response, but they can hear
okay,
us.
they can, well, children, young people, as it were, there's a commitment I had for you to do. It says globally, there's a high level of indiscipline and crime in the society. So it is important to pursue a process of transformation in Jamaica, beginning with me. Personalize it, that you have a part to play in making Jamaica a safe place, a disciplined place, as we normally would have years ago. As I said in another area, that our policemen were respected by us, and we trust the policeman to help us to cross the street, help us if we were lost. Our teachers were revered, and we would not walk too close to them lest they think that we would be listening into their argument and pick up gossip. We would either walk far behind them or we run past them. So we had such great respect for our community helpers, and we want you to carry this on, because we need you to be good community helpers. And of late, we have some names coming across that are professions that children are aspiring to be, and we put a big X in them. And Dion could discuss this with them. What are some professions or things that are happening in your community that you would never want to be a part of? And one that comes to mind is scammer, which is very prevalent, not just in Jamaica, but the world over. You take
Right.
a pledge. I would not like to be a scammer. Thank you.
Yes. That was in the chat as well, Dr. Lola. The
Oh,
kids put
good.
that in the chat. So
Yes.
of the responses that you got in the chat,
Yes,
are nurse,
good.
policeman, policewoman,
Yes.
and one other teacher and soldier. So you got some good responses. Yes.
Yes, and Dion could continue. They could write it down and make a list of them. And they could share it with their parents, share it with their siblings, who will encourage them and mentor them in realizing what they would like to be.
So a very good question to ask with regard to the community helpers is how each one, because each one does something different, right? Each one has an area of specialization. How does a soldier keep peace? Is there anyone that can answer that question?
Hands are up.
Hands are up. We'll wait for
Yes,
the
a hand
message.
is up. Yeah.
So what does the soldier do?
I think they said keeping the community in order.
Okay,
Peace.
keep it in order. Okay.
Yes.
So
keep it
how
order.
is that different from what the policeman does?
The policeman serve to protect.
So the
The
policeman
policeman
serves
protect
to
and
protect.
reassure.
Yes, serve,
Yeah.
protect, and
Wonderful.
reassure.
Yes.
Excellent.
So
And it's
great.
there, and it's there daily. What the soldiers are called out on certain occasions, like when you have hurricane, to help if a bridge needs to be built, and is a very good community helper in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Lola, a young lady has come to the front, so I think
Yes,
she has something to say there.
yes. You want to share with us?
Dion, can you put that in the chat for us, please? Then we'll know what the young lady's got to say.
What she said.
We've got two young ladies at the
Two
front
young
now.
ladies.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yes.
Two of each, balanced.
Yes, yeah. What would they like to be when they grow up? They seem to be very much advanced, soon be leaving school. What would you like to be, you two girls, when you grow up, when you leave school? At least this school.
I would like to be a child psychiatrist.
Child psychiatrist.
Well, we should
Excellent.
know that. We should know that. And will you write that down in the back of your book, or write it on a strip of paper and put on the back of your door, so that you constantly is reminded? And if you know somebody who's a child psychologist, will you visit the person and talk with the person and get some points and tips from the person, what subjects you need to focus on to do that? Very, very good. There's another girl there. Would you like to say what you like to be when you grow up?
I want to be an air hostess.
Air hostess.
You're an air hostess.
Or a pilot even.
Yes, very good. I can see you're on your way with the hairstyle and everything. So, so you have to work hard at that, because you have to be properly groomed, and of course speaking. And that's another thing I talk about, speaking tips, that you know how to speak with person respectfully. Because sometimes you even go for an interview, and just the way you speak can gain you that job in probably in the first 5 minutes. So the way your tone, you know, is very, very important to help you to reach that goal. And I hope you'll be able to dress up in the way an air hostess dresses, and at least at home maybe, or, you know, you visit a friend or so and you dress up. And when we were growing up, we would tip if we don't have a heel to wear, and you're on your way in achieving your aim. I wish you well.
So one other question for the young lady who wants to be an air hostess. What skill do you have to keep peace as an air hostess?
Good question.
Yes, yes. What
Stay
skill?
calm. Stay calm.
And be polite.
And be polite.
Even under stressful circumstances, you have to try to be polite, and of course to be pleasant, you know, smiling, and you have to be well groomed. You have to be well groomed.
I think Keisha
Yes,
come in
I
there
would.
as well.
Yeah, and I would go back to the values that we talked about earlier. You have to have a great level of respect, and you
Yes.
have to have a great level of trust as well, trusting those around you to know that they mean well for you, and also for the pilot, trusting that they will take you to your destination safely. And also peace, making sure that, like they said, you're calm in the face of conflict, and you are able to de-escalate situations, and you're able to think critically, have high level of critical thinking skills, so that you can come up with solutions every time there's a problem that comes up, and making sure that you stay on top, you stay on your toes all the time, and thinking about creative ways to solve problems.
And we've had some in the points put in the chat from the young people. It's also about how you speak and walk, very true. And of course, being courteous. So that's been put in twice. So that's good that the young people themselves understand that fact as well.
Yeah.
Well done.
And I just want to say self-respect. If you do not respect yourself, it is very difficult for you to respect others. And we are being plagued with violence, domestic violence. And why would a young man wants to beat a young lady if he respects himself? You have to respect yourself first, then you will respect others. And therefore there are certain things you do not do. You do not abuse anybody. You allow the person space to speak, express their opinion without fear, and also allow them distance. It is just since COVID that people realize that they don't speak in people's face. From I was growing up, my parents would say, keep your distance. Keep your distance in speaking with person. This is very, very important.
So with regard to the respect, let's have two people come up to the camera and tell us what respect means to you.
Yeah.
You got any movement there?
Yes, one person is going up. I see one person moving up.
So I think Dion can select someone.
Yes, her hand is up around the back. What respect means to you?
Respect means to me that if you respect yourself when you go out in public, you will be able to respect others.
So if you respect yourself and when you go out, you'll respect others.
Yes,
So how do you show respect? Because you're using the word, but it's an action, right? It's an action word. So how do you show respect?
By appreciating people and what people have done for you and for others.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And what is your name, young lady? And what is your
And here is a hard one, Janice, is giving up your rights for your right just to maintain peace. And that is something that shows a lot of respect. Somebody will push you, then you do not push back the person. You can ask, did you realize that you pushed me? And the person might very well say no. But even if you said, okay, and you do not do the same wrong thing that persons do to you. So that is very, very important. You give up your right for peace sake. Not an easy thing to do, but it's something that we should cultivate.
Okay.
And there's that word, peace.
We're now running across time, and there's Dean Roden, Donovan.
No.
Still to come.
Hold on, you need to play the video for them. Here, you need to play the video for them.
Right, who's got the who's gonna play that?
Okay, here, let me share. See if I can pull it up here. Let me do portion screen. Let me do optimize.
We're going to ask Mr. at the end, Barrington Burke Green, to say a few words before we close.
mix up a guan, blend up a guan. That shotty never see this from Shibon. Social media them love me most, but on everything you say post. I get hype and
After my house. Okay.
I read it, but then make everybody get hooked on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Girls and I'm a show my feel texting it online. I get rant and rave. Some people don't know if they post. Mama read over foreign and never get divorced. I Jamaica post it online and the wife sister see now we black up in a jail over stupidity. You shouldn't post. I get hype on a post, lad. Even if you like Twitter, do not put it on Twitter. You have to smart and clever. And everything you will share. Don't become the next clown of the year. Don't bring your life nightmare over likes and share. Don't show your business out there. Now everybody a target, everything I expose. Wanted man get catch you in my tweet and a post media junkie no east. Laptop and phone, so the thief check your page and know when you owe a man full of big job.
All right. So Dion, how much more time do we have in this class? About 10 minutes?
Right. Janice, I'd just like to bring in Dean Roden before the young people go. It's really important in terms of the work that we've been doing from the collaboration across the UK and US diaspora. Dean, if you could bring in for a short while, just because of time now.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. All protocol observed. I'm gonna pause my time to show a video that I asked my children to present. They didn't sleep last night. And it's gonna relate to if I can share the screen, really.
Yeah, it's coming.
Program, and I'm very honored to say that this related to what Dr. Lowell said, and I asked them last night. They went and did this.
Excellent.
Hey, my name is Sergeant Donald Loban. I am 9 years old. I attend the Lake Park Primary School in Kingston, Jamaica. I am in grade 4L. Today, as we celebrate Read Across Jamaica Day, my poem is Jamaican by Dwayne Errol Gordon. I am a Jamaican. That is the truth. I grew up there since I was a youth. Many people think that it is a bad place and that we kill each other for fun, but that is not true. Only the bad boys walk around with guns. It has a beautiful sunshine. It receives a lot of rain. If you think like that, probably you are insane. Do the good and not the bad, because the bad stuff will only get you mad. Thank you.
Excellent.
Next one coming up. This girl, her mom was up all night.
Hello everyone, my name is Shani Patterson. I am 8 years old. I am from Thompson, Clarendon. I attend the school, Thompson Primary and Infant. What I would like to be is a teacher. I'm going to read a poem written by my mom, Shireen Simpson Patterson. The topic of this poem is a reading. Hey, come here. Let me tell you a secret. Did you know that reading is the key to unlock any society? You can look and see that this is the reality. Let's have a discussion about reading and education. It's not an assumption, it's reality in creation. You have to learn to read if you want to succeed, and achieve all that you need without actually showing good. Reading makes you smart. Reading makes you confident. Reading gives you all the sense of independence. Reading is really the key. Sometimes it might take longer, but with continuous effort, you will get stronger. Don't watch the crowd and worry loud. Just ensure yourself to be the best reader you can
Very good.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Dean, we will definitely bring them both back on in the future.
This is just a tip of what I do.
Exactly.
14th, we're gonna be having the American pilot, the Jamaican American pilot who passed through my hand, one of my students in Hermitage. She's gonna be on my program. And we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have so if I had ample time, I'd have made these present. And this was just they did this morning for me. So
yeah, no, it's great. And
thank you very much.
And everyone, I can tell you, you heard it here first. The first week in August during Emancipation and Independence Week, that will also be Community Helpers Week. So we will have videos of young people from across Jamaica, and we will have the adults who, of course, were young once, and they've achieved their vision. So Community Helpers Week, supported by Dr. Lola Ramakan, the author of the Community Helpers book. So we'll really all be looking forward to that. Thank you very much for that, Dean. That's inspiring.
And I think the reading with the community helpers is a very good twin, because if you want to be a good community helper, reading must be at the core of what you do in school.
Yeah, and what's great about Community Helpers Week, we'll give prizes for the best poems and essays, all related to community helpers and what they do in the community. And of course, we'll be looking for the young community helper as well. So who in your class has really, you can all vote and say, look, this is our community helper, and they'll get an award.
Very good, very good.
So what was the date again for that?
And that will be the first week in August, which is Emancipation Day through to Independence Day.
Yeah.
And again, it's an integral part of Jamaica 60. And you know the theme, reigniting a nation for greatness. But that also means engaging with the rest of the world. And as was mentioned before, respect and inclusion is the common ground for all of us, regardless of our backgrounds and status. That's really important. So the values of collaboration, communication, creative thinking or critical thinking, and communication is really important.
All right, right. Well, thank you for that. Okay, now I think I was able to figure out how to get this up here.
Great.
So I'm going to play that because I know you guys are going to be transitioning into another classroom, but Tasha T, who is a reggae artist from Canada, she put together a special song that is a very conscious one, but is definitely one that you would want to hear and take heed. So we're going to go ahead and show that. Share. And hopefully this time it's going to work. Okay, oh, let's start from the beginning. That would be nice. Okay, here we go.
mix up a guan, blend up a guan. That shawty never see this from Siobhan. Social media them love me more, but I know everything, I know everything is a post. I get hype and a post, Lord. I know everything glitter, you go put it on Twitter. You feel smart and clever, I know everything you feel share. I want like clown of the year. Don't bring your life here over likes and share. Don't show your business out there. And this I wanna read it for them. Make everybody get proof on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Girl, send a man a picture in a bathroom. I feel next thing it online, I get rant and rave. Some people don't know if they post. Mama read over foreign and never get divorced. I Jamaica post it online and the wife sister see no way back up in a jail over stupidity. You shouldn't post. I get hype on a post, Lord. Even if you like Twitter, do not put it on Twitter. You have to smart and clever, and everything you will share. Don't become the next clown of the year. Don't bring your life here over likes and share. Don't show your business out there. Now everybody a target, everything I expose. Wanted man get tattoo him a tweet and a post media junkie no east. Laptop and phone, so the thief check your page and know when you owe a man full of big job and get Western Street. Not a source, so suspect him petty Kyle of money. But he buy him girlfriend of a suit a Gucci and she post it online and say some things not to post. I get hype and a post, Lord. And everything glitter, you go put it on Twitter. You be smart and clever, and everything you will share. Now one like say you don't care. Cause even if you're vexed with your man, I put it on Instagram, work it out. Cause I know yes you can, yes you can. Man tell your wife him man a foreign pan a business trip. And every day I'm calling tell her how him love and miss. Until her friends and her some pics with some Instagram pics. With a husband and a girl that hold hands and kiss. My gosh, you draw your kids just like a parent should. Try to shield them from the bad and teach them all at school. Can you imagine someone sending you a viral clip with your daughter and your son and do some spiral it? You shouldn't post. I get hype and a post, Lord. And everything glitter, you go post it on Twitter. You have to smart and clever, and everything you to share. I want like clown of the year. Don't bring your life here over likes and share. Don't show your business out there. You shouldn't post. I get hype and a post, and everything you to share. I want like say you don't care. And everything you could post, I get hype and a post, and everything you could share. Why say you don't care? And everything you could post, I get hype and a post, and everything you could share. Why say you don't care?
Excellent, excellent. Janice, before we go, I'd like to hear two people. Donovan Longmore, who's been on from the beginning, just some words of encouragement, and also Barrington Burke Green, who will be representing Country Style Community Tourism Network, who again is heavily involved with our focus on hospitality within our local communities. So Donovan, if you could just quickly.
Thank you so much, Rudy. And of course, blessings to each and every one. Just want to encourage your young men and women who are doing Reading Across Jamaica and everyone who's involved. I just have 6 quick points of encouragement. You always hear grandma, grandpa, your parents says, a chapter a day will chase the devil away. I just want to encourage you guys to read a chapter a day. Whatever you like, whatever you want to become in life, read something on it and just read a chapter a day. When you do, it will brighten your day. Number 2, understand what you're reading. If you read something and you don't quite fully understand it, go over it again, take your time, and you will achieve what you were trying to understand. Number 3, have an open mind and be willing to learn. It's often said that your mind is like a parachute. It only functions when it's open. So always have that open mind and take your time and read at your own pace. Number 4, respect your teachers, your parents, and your peers, and those helping you to get along in life. Always get involved in community activities, and of course, do things that are positive, and you will, of course, see the results in the end. Number 5, ask questions. If you don't understand something, know and understand by asking questions. What Marcus Garvey always said, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from. Seek and understand where things started and how it will end up, because that will help you in the future. And last but not least, always remember this: pray. Always pray and ask God for guidance in everything that you do in your life. It is said in Philippians 4, verse 13, young men and women, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. There's nothing you can't do. Always remember that. And I will tell people this: you are who you are. You are Jamaicans, and always follow the last 4 letters of who you are. That's your nationality, and it simply states ICAN. That means I can. So never you give up. Always keep your head up and always look to those who can help you. We're here for you. Like Rudy and Dean said, we're on the radio. We're on several platforms that will help you guys. So please feel free. Any problems, any questions, call us, and we'll be glad to be there for you. Again, thank you guys for your time, and God bless.
That's great. Great.
Thank you very much.
Well, hold on. Let's get some feedback here. Okay, because you gave them 5 different things now. We need to make sure that it's not just going out one place,
Going
and
in and out.
thinking in. Okay. So who can tell us what number 1 was? Anybody remember the first thing that he said?
Good question.
You get to go on the air live.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna have to give number 1 back to him again.
Number 1.
All right, number 1 was read a chapter a day. It doesn't matter what it is. If you love something, read something on it.
Now that is very important to remember, right? A chapter a day. Everybody put one finger up in the air. A chapter a day.
See it?
All right, let's do that. How about number 2? Anybody remember the second thing he said? Yeah, you got your hand up? You remember? No, that's okay. My memory's not good either. All right, come on, give it to us, Donovan. Give it to us.
It was saying, understand what you read. Always take the time out to understand what you read. Go over it and take your time, and then you'll get a full and better understanding.
All right, kind of like what we're doing now. We're going back over it so that we can understand it, right? All right, so understand what you read. Anybody remember number 3? Okay, we got something up here, and when we do this, we open it up. He said, open your mind.
Right.
Open your mind,
Open
okay?
your minds. That's it. And
Open your mind.
well, they're copying your gesture, which is good.
All right, how about number 4? Anybody got number 4?
That should be the easiest one.
Yeah, because we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it with the community helpers. We've been talking about it. Yeah. It starts with the letter R. Anybody remember? Starts with the letter R. You need another clue? E. You need another clue?
Yeah, they've said respect.
Respect. All right, so number 4 was respect. All right. Somebody must remember the last thing. You do. You do. You do.
It's enthusiastic.
Yep. All right. Come on. Tell it to us. I know we can't hear because he's on mute, but
it should come up in the chat.
oh, okay. I was gonna say check the chat. All right.
If
Read a chapter a day.
Dion can put it in the
okay.
chat.
Okay. What was number 5?
To pray.
Yes. Put your hands together and pray.
Well done. Well done.
Pray. All right, we're gonna pray. Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
quite
Good.
simple.
Clap
Again,
in.
Read a chapter a day. Understand what you read. Open your mind. Respect and to pray.
Yeah. And I
Well
think
done.
if they remember parachute to open, I think that's what Donovan said.
Yeah,
Just
number
like a
3.
parachute. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
open your mind, just like a parachute opens.
Yes.
And in fact, in fact, there are 5 good points, and I think we can certainly put an image against each of those
Each of them,
words that will help
Yes.
with remembrance.
Yes.
And
yes.
and we're looking to that as part of Community Helpers Week, Donovan. So
Yeah.
we'll talk
Yeah.
more about that.
We can talk about it. Yeah.
So Barrington Burke Green, you're next.
Good afternoon. Am I unmuted?
Yep, you're unmuted. The whole world can hear you.
Oh, wow. Good afternoon. First of all, I'm just so elated to get an opportunity to be involved in this in some way, even just to be a spectator, to see what is going on. I'm extremely proud of the students. I'm looking at them getting up and putting up their hands and so on. And so I can remember when I was at, Mile Gully Primary School. And, when I think about it, I'm looking at the students around, and I remember what I thought back then when I was sitting in class. Well, of course, I'm thinking about the lunchtime and the lunch and the bell, right? But also just to sit there and think. But I remember one thing, and there are wonderful things that were presented, and I encourage you to remember them. But I'm only going to add one more. And it really was a lesson that I learned. And I want you to think, students, all the things that you see around you. You see big buildings, you see small buildings, cars, hotels, all kinds of things. And I remember one moment when I was sitting down there in Mile Gully at the front of the house, and I was looking up at a plane that was passing over. And I said to Mama, Mama, how does that plane go over there? And she said, I'm sorry, it's emotional. But she said to me, if you keep reading, you will fly one of those planes. And I never, ever forgot that. And, everything in life that you see around you is really as a result of somebody reading. Yes. Anything that you can imagine. That came back to me when I was here, when I moved to the United States. At 17, 18 years old, I couldn't get to go to school like everybody else, but I was able to pick up my book. And just like the gentleman said, Dean Roden said, a chapter a day. Put something in this head every day. No one will be able to take it out. It is that one kind of riches that you will have that no one is able to take away from you. So that's what I want to leave with you. I'm the vice president, recently installed as the vice president of Country Style Community Tourism Network. And I want to say this, there are many peers, Rudy, I'm really glad to see you all on here. Janice, is wonderful to see you. I'm sorry using first names. Please forgive me, Paula, just to be quick, Dr. Lola, and so on, and all the others that are here, Patrick as well, and Donovan. Country Style Community Tourism Network is the core of what the Country Style Tourism Network is. It is the development of the community. So when you look at those community helpers that we learn about from Dr. Lola, we look at the big hotels and everything, but we're talking about our development, our growing, having the quality life that really we look at and see in books, we can have it among ourselves. And so I want to commit to the effort here, reading across Jamaica, that Country Style Community Tourism Network, villages as businesses, will be alongside you as you move on, and to be involved in every effort that you can. So I want to leave you with that, and thank you so much for the opportunity. And
I just want to say one little thing, my personal pet peeve. We don't forget how to speak patois, you know, we still have it. We still have it, all right? And we're out here batting for you.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful week.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Over to you, Janice. Last word before we close. Over to you, Janice.
All right, well, hold on, because I want to make sure that Nisha Yen, who is obviously one of their local TV hosts, she had a message that she wanted to share with the children. She actually had a poem that she wanted to read, and so she recorded that for us.
Okay.
Let me see if I can make this happen again. Yeah. All right. And let's see, let's go ahead and put that there. But as many of you know, Nisha Yen, she's a trained dancer. She's an award-winning actress. She's the TV show host for Daytime Live Jamaica and Dancing Dynamites. She's an artist, so she has many skills under her belt. And is it not going to open up? All right, well, let's do it this way. All right, let's do a quick drop in there, and let's do a quick drop in here, and let's, nope, that's not gonna work. Oh, sorry, y'all, can't, I'm not gonna be able to show it. Well, it was worth a try, but she had a message for you, and of course, we know that we will definitely try to have it for you next time. I'm going to give it to your teacher so she can play it in the resource room for you guys when you come in there, and you can just get inspired by her just as well. All right. So I'm not going to be able to play it because that link is not working. It gave me an error message. So
okay, we can we must.
So we want to thank you guys. Yeah, we want to thank you guys for paying attention. We want to thank you guys for allowing us to come into your room via this virtual medium. And we want you to be responsible with whatever technology you get. There's that word, responsible. We want you to always respect one another. And we want you guys to live in peace and harmony. We want you to remember that all of those community helpers are there to help you. So we want to respect them just as well. Again, Read Across Jamaica Foundation is happy to be able to provide you guys with t-shirts. So I know you guys some of you got that. And I will talk to your teacher about the individual who remembered one of the 5 things that Donovan told you. So you should get a prize. And then I'm going to talk to Miss Dion about that. And then we will definitely be looking forward to coming back next year and visiting you guys in person. So you guys take care. Miss Dion, I think you were going to have the children close this out. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I see Mr. Williams, one of my colleagues. Hello, Mr. Williams. And he definitely supports Read Across Jamaica in LA. So when we're in LA, he allows us, or he helps to coordinate the Marcus Garvey Elementary School when we do Read Across America at that school there. So, hey, Patrick, do you have any words that you'd like to share with our children? On the spot, yes.
Good morning, everyone. I would say it's commendable to be up early for those who have been up early. Yeah. But I think your presenters have done a mighty job. If I should add anything is to say, taking what you've learned today or what was shared today on this platform, some great tools. I must say, I myself was making notes, and I have a host of nieces and nephews, and as I prepare to go on our mission to Jamaica next month, there's some of the things that we can also share with some of those young minds out there. And we'll be coming into the parish of St. Mary. So I recognize your host was excited that the school is in St. Mary. So it's one of the parishes we'll be going. Tells me that he's from that region. Yeah. But anyway, it was really, really insightful this morning. I enjoyed everyone's presentation. Sorry I got on a little bit late. As you know, we're still on the West Coast timeline here. So, but thank you,
No
Janice,
worries.
for sharing this banter. And I know it takes a lot to put on a program as this. You know, we think that, you know, a virtual event, it's an easy thing to pull together. It's challenging when you actually have persons in different parts of the world to get them on the same platform. But I guess it's the new way going forward. But thank you, Janice, for keeping this torch going. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Patrick, for your kind words. A special thanks, okay, of course, go to our special guest, Dr. Lola Ramakan. I appreciate you. I love what you are doing in your book, and I saw that Bernardo said he has to have the book. So do I. And we will definitely use it as part of our arsenal when we visit the other schools, when we do our island-wide bus tour next year. Claudia Campbell, even though she was not on camera, I know that she was a part of the devotion and did the welcome there before the children. Keisha Thorpe, I think she's gone, but we do appreciate her. We are definitely very, very proud of the work that she's done and what she has achieved. Let's see, Tasha T, we want to thank her for providing her musical talents as always. Bernardo Taylor, our poet laureate. Miss Deanne Heron, yes, thank you. I wish that you could read more often. You sound like Miss Lou to me, and I love the way I love the story. So thank you. And also Nisha Yen, we want to thank her for providing the video, but not, you know, unfortunately, we're gonna leave that with you. That's gonna be a parting gift. All right. And I think I've covered all of our special guests. Thank you, Rudy, for providing this platform for us to share with the children. We know we had challenges, but we always have technical problems and we work through all of them. So thank you. Yes. And I'm going to turn it over to the teacher there.
All right, I just want to thank each and every single one of you for sharing with us in our Read Across Jamaica Day here at Wycliffe Martin High. Aren't we proud to have them? Yes, we are so good for having you guys to share with us. I really, really read through your book, Dr. Lola. Thank you. Very awesome books. We're going to be using them. We've got your books. We're certainly going to be using it. Hi, Miss Hira. Let's say hi to everybody. Hi, Miss Paula. Hi, Mr. Patrick. Hi, Rudy. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
And Dion, before you go, which parish are you in again in Jamaica?
St. Mary. No more. I have to be better than that. St. Mary. Yes.
Okay, where you come from.
All right.
That's so sweet. Oh my goodness. That was a miracle.
Right. And I'll come and look for you when I come to Jamaica, St. Mary, with the banana chips.
Absolutely.
What's the name of the high school? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Wycliffe.
Wycliffe.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Dion, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll connect later. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We're happy that you asked.
Thank you.
Yeah, we know it's difficult for 6 o'clock in the morning, but you know, passion, wherever that cross is between your passion, right, and your drive, there you go. You're there. So I appreciate everyone for being here and look forward to, you know, you guys participating, helping to enhance the program, and definitely taking it back to other schools so that they can get involved and increase their celebrations as well. We have another event coming up later on this afternoon with Uncle Dean and his group. For the after school program, we're going to be doing a poetry slam. So he showed you, he gave you a little snippet of a couple of them already. So we'll be doing that later on this evening. And, you know, if you have the time, join in. It's going to be a treat.
Great. So thank you very much, all. From London.
Yes.
Connecticut.
California.
California. Across the global diaspora.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
I'm not embarrassed to say again, St. Mary, well done, being the first parish to have this online dialogue with the diaspora in such a way.
Yeah.
And we look forward to you taking part in Community Helpers Week.
Yes.
From Independence Day through to Emancipation Day, a week of activities. Dean Roden showed you with those young people who dressed up as community helpers. So we expect to see the engineers, the pilots, the surgeons, girls and boys. And we really look forward to that. That's going to be great. And we're working on a mural for Augustown, the community helpers. So we very much hope that there'll be a mural at White Cliff as well, and across all of Jamaica. So thank you, and very well done. And I think what we'll do next time, we'll make sure that you can put your ideas into the chat room, so it will come up on the platform that we're on. So we'll think of ways how best to do that. There's a solution for all of these things, but specifically when you want to do good, there is always a solution. So thank you and goodbye, and take care of yourselves, all of you.
Rudy, before you go, Rudy.
Yes.
I got an email from the director of the Sangster's bookstore in Montego Bay. She wants to get involved and make it an international thing. So
Absolutely.
I will get you and Janice and Dr. Lolo and everybody else the information, so we can collaborate with her.
Absolutely. And that will be great to get Sangsters involved for Community Helpers Week.
Yes.
One of the things that we'll be doing, we will be directing all of the communities to their local booksellers. There'll be, you know, young people, the uniform groups organized by Dean Roden, the scouts, the guides, everybody to share the book. The book is about sharing, and it's a knowledge transfer tool. So what we're showing, even in this time of the 21st century, reading and the physical books are really important. We'll also be sharing Deanne's some of her reminiscence of being a young person in Jamaica. And I'm sure many of the young people can identify with some of the things that Deanne said, because I don't think grandmas ever change. Doesn't matter what generation they are.
Rudy, if I may, just a minute to start that, you know, people have been hearing about the Dean Roden show. Just to inform people what we do, it's an open program to whatever group, whatever age group. It's across the land. All of you, anyone who want to be a part of it, we disperse people or students. We identify the 2 most outstanding students each month. Donated 15 laptop, you know, which have been for this month. We're going to be celebrating the quarter, which is from January to April, where we select 4 students doing good at school and all those things. So it's open to any students across the island. So just in Augustown, you guys, Mary, you know, Rudy has been a part of my program since I've started it. So St. Mary is now a part of the program.
Absolutely.
Students across the world, students from Africa, Canada, and we just talk rap, we have movie time, we have things that us come and have a good times. And what we do in the community helpers, they, whatever career they want to do, we're going to be, I linked up with people in that career. I've been an ambassador for Jamaica. I've served Jamaica for over 30 years as a scout leader. I have a state trooper here. I have a member in the police force. So I linked up the person in those career, try and adopt the students. So like the police, those two police guys, one of my scout who I've taught, he's now a state trooper in the United States. He just up for those two police guys. So those two police guys, there's also a guy that he wants to be a pilot. And I said, the pilot was from my community heritage. She's gonna be coming on board to talk to that pilot. I also judge who is a part of my, who is from my community, married to one of my scouts, one of my students want to be a judge. So on the program, we're dressing up in whatever career, and we make connection with people in the real world, to guide them, the teachers, the veterans. So that's what it is. Thank you very much for giving me the chance.
Absolutely. It's all part of the same big program that we're involved in. So Mama D, I think you need to close with something short. I think Janice prepared you for. Unmute.
You're asking me, Dean?
Unmute.
You're asking me? Okay. All right. Well, thank you again for attending, everyone. Dion, I already texted you that information for Dean's program this afternoon, so you can share that with some of the kids. Their family, they will need permission from their parents in order to do that. So, you know, that's on its way. And again, thank you, everybody. Remember that you share a book with a child and you give literacy a dose of cure. And also remember that reading is the key to unlocking opportunities. All right. All right, everybody. Yes. All right. And enjoy the rest of your Read Across Jamaica Day. All right.
All right.